Associated Press did investigation on paid staffers for Donald Trump. At first, when I saw the outrageous things in this story, in the headline, they obviously hinted at it, intimated it. I thought, no, this has got to be random people who are posting on his Facebook page or following him on Twitter. No, these are paid staffers who work for Donald Trump's campaign. So let me tell you what they did. The AP, Associated Press, examined the social media feeds of more than 50 current and former campaign employees who helped propel Trump through the primary elections. Let's see what they found out. The campaign has employed a mix of veteran political operatives and outsiders. Most come across as dedicated, enthusiastic partisans. That makes sense. But at least 7 expressed views that were overtly racially charged, supportive of violent actions, or broadly hostile to Muslims. Now you might think, boy, that took an AP investigation to figure that out. I hear you, but you should hear the details. Donald Trump's paid campaign staffers have declared on their personal social media accounts that Muslims are unfit to be U.S. citizens, ridiculed Mexican accents, called for Secretary of State John Kerry to be hanged, and stated their readiness for a possible civil war, according to a review by the Associated Press of their postings. Now, what do you mean, hang Secretary of State John Kerry? Not really, right? That was some sort of inference or something. No, there was a picture of John Kerry with Jane Fonda, which, by the way, was photoshopped. It's not even a real picture. But it doesn't matter. The staffer for Donald Trump writes underneath the picture, "I say, hang them." No, that's not a dog whistle. No, that's just saying hang them. That's all. Now, keep in mind here, and we'll talk more about this at the end too, these are not random hobos off the street. Some of these are state directors, field organizers, etc. Now, you could have vetted these guys. Other Republicans in the past, interviewed by the Associated Press, who ran presidential campaigns, a lot of Romney staffers are like, well, of course we would vet the people we hired. We wouldn't just hire these maniacs. We would either, make sure that they didn't say something like this, and then we would tell them once they start working for us, hey, be careful. Anything you say on your social media could be on the front page of the New York Times. Now, are the Trump people taking those kind of precautions? Of course not. And one of the Romney staffers said, well, if you don't take any precautions like that and you have this result, it might be malpractice. Of course it is. That's Donald Trump. So here's one of the memes that one of his staffers put up. Mexican word of the day, liver and cheese. First of all, that's not really the word of the day, and it's a Trump supporter. And the least of this problems of this meme. So it explains, some guy tried to sweet talk my rucka. I told him, hey bro, liver alone, cheese mine. Okay, not only is that offensive, it's actually less offensive to Mexicans than it is to people who care about humor. That's the least funny thing I've ever heard. You gotta do better than that. Okay, so it kind of gives you a sense into the soul of Trump supporters. Anyway, these are not just supporters, they're paid staffers. A graphic designer for Trump's advance team approvingly posted a video of a black man eating fried chicken and criticizing fellow blacks for ignorance, irresponsibility, and having too many children. Oh, they're also racist against blacks. I would have never figured it. More. A Trump field organizer in Virginia declared that Muslims were seeking to impose Sharia law in America, and those who understand Islam for what it is are gearing up for the fight. I should do a video one day where I send them into a panic, where I go, okay, now, all of my supporters, start Sharia law, go, Dracaris. Who's starting Sharia law, you maniacs? Where are they? Which Muslims are taking over the country? God, lunatics. Anyway, but in case that wasn't clear enough, Mark Kevin Lloyd, that's the field director from Virginia, called Islam, quote, a barbaric cult. Like, it's gotten so bad in America that you might actually look at that and go, oh, what's the big deal? In the old days, if you called any of the religions a barbaric cult, you would have been eliminated from legitimate consideration for any political office. Now you got a guy running for president and you go, oh, his staffers that he's paying money to think that Islam is a barbaric cult. Of course, what's the big deal? Well, yeah, that's how bigotry takes hold. All right, another one on Islam, of course. We need Islam control, not gun control. Yeah, because you remember all this Sandy Hook, Muslim, Aurora, Colorado, Muslim, Columbine, Muslim, Virginia Tech, Muslim. Oh, right. No, all those mass shootings. There was San Bernardino and there was Orlando. That's 2 out of over 370 mass shootings last year. So the other 368 not Muslims, now most of those were Christian. Do we need Christianity control? No, don't be ridiculous. It's the Muslims' fault. Okay, I know. Annie Mary Delgado, who's a grassroots organizer paid in Florida by the Trump team, says in reference to how the Muslims are taking over, because there was a Muslim judge that was appointed. Wow. Step by step, this is how American culture will end. Oh, yeah. Okay, we're not anywhere near done. Philip Dan says he's a Trump field organizer in Massachusetts, and he sees Trump and refers to it, talking about waterboarding and how maybe we should do more than waterboarding. And he writes in, where's the gasoline? This would have been a campaign ender in any other year for any other office. This country's lost its mind. This guy still has a chance of winning. Okay, Philip Dan then at least was honest when asked about it by the press. Some of the others refused to talk to the Associated Press, shut down all their social media accounts. They're like, what are you talking about? No, guys, we already have the screen captures. No, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't see it, right? But at least Philip Dan acknowledges it. He says, quote, we get hired because there was no one left. Well, I'm sure that's true. And then Associated Press explains, again about Dan, in a later email, he acknowledged some of his and other staff's postings were, quote, clearly over the top, but said that the criticism of the posts would amount to intimidation. But no, wait a minute, dude. You're the guy talking about burning people down with gasoline. That's intimidation. Us pointing out that you said that is not intimidation. That's saying, hey, don't use the gasoline on anybody. Oh, Joe, you're taking away my right to burn people alive. You're taking that right away from me. You're trying to intimidate me. No, you fascists. No, it's the exact opposite. We're worried about what you knuckleheads might do if you actually got into power, which is the most important part that we're going to get to at the end, but we're almost there. One staffer said Trump's style of speaking reminded him of a roommate who had taken too many hallucinogenic mushrooms. Well, at least that guy is also honest and has gone in a different direction and realizes we might be crazy, but the guy up top is also crazy, and maybe that's why he hired us. Okay. Now, the Trump people will say, oh, yeah, but did they look into Hillary Clinton? Yeah, it turns out they did. The AP also reviewed the public social media accounts of more than 36 employees of Hillary Clinton's far larger campaign staff and found nothing as inflammatory. They actually went through thousands of DNC emails that were also leaked. They're like, maybe we'll find something in here. And remember, they found pretty damaging stuff about how they didn't want Bernie Sanders to win. On racial, ethnic issues, nothing. The only thing that's close is in an earlier story when one of the DNC staffers questioned Bernie Sanders' religion and thought he might actually be atheist. But no talk of gasoline or racist memes or anything along those lines. It's not even. So if the media calls it even, they're lying to you. One side has a whole lot of issues that we've discussed a lot. That's the Hillary Clinton side. And they are pro-establishment, and those issues are real. The other side is, yes, a lot of them are racist, bigoted, and they don't even hide it unless they get caught with their hand in the cookie jar. Oh, so what social media account? What are you talking about? Or the guy who says, yeah, but don't intimidate me with my own opinions. Besides, there was no one else left to work for Trump. He's such a presumed maniac that who would work for him other than us maniacs? But will those guys be in power one day? So that's what I want to leave you with. Associated Press says their judgment matters beyond the campaign because the paid staff of winning presidential candidates often receive jobs in the next administration. So those guys you just heard about, they get to be in power if Trump wins. So that's a cold, hard reality. God help us all.
Help keep TYT independent by becoming a member. tytnetwork.com/join.